Hi, I'm Rob Vanstone. I'm here with Murray McCormick and Ian Hamilton. We're here to talk about the top 10 Roughriders special teams players of all time. And I guess comparable to the best rider game of all time, we have unanimity on the five-person panel. The choice was Dave Ridgway. First place votes across the board. Murray, any surprises there?
None in the least. I think when you think special teams and kickers, you think Dave Ridgway right to the top of the list. I think he's done it all. He won him a Grey Cup. He's been consistent over the long term, clutch. He's everything you want as a special teams player and a kicker.
Ian Hamilton?
No, I'd have to agree. I mean, in terms of this team's special teams over the years, I mean, there's been some good punters, there's been some good return guys, but everybody thinks of robo-kicker. Easy #1 pick.
I had debated a bit myself.
Okay, not an easy number.
Weighed it between Dave Ridgway and Corey Holmes. Corey Holmes was twice named the CFL Special Teams Player of the Year, and I considered that. But then I started thinking, well, what if they'd had such an award when Dave Ridgway played? How many times would he have won that award? So I don't think you can penalize Dave Ridgway for the fact that there wasn't such an accolade when he played. He was just so reliable for so long. But how do you... are we slighting Corey Holmes a bit here, considering everything he did as a returner?
I think... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't think you can do that because you've got 11 other guys on the field. Granted, there are as well when you're kicking a field goal, but it's one guy basically in that case with a holder. But in Holmes's case, you can look at the blocking scheme, the other special teams players they had there that also help out in that instance.
Murr?
I hate to agree, but I do. I think
Thank you.
Ridgway stood alone. He was the guy who had to kick the ball. He did everything. And you have to say, I did wrestle with Corey Holmes a bit because I also like Corey Holmes. He's a pretty good guy. And I don't remember he got traded, how excited he was got traded here that second time. I always remember that day that I've never met an athlete that was more excited for that moment. And I appreciated what he did. And it kind of weighed my vote to have him second. But I think Ridgway, there's no argument of what he did and what he's done for this franchise. And I think that's... Everybody else you talk about, there's no one that's dominant at that position as Ridgway was.
Once you get past Dave Ridgway, Corey Holmes, what players stand out for you?
Well, I voted for Willis Jaycox. I know nobody else did, but I mean, there's another guy that was an outstanding returner. Granted, as I said with Holmes, there's other people that help in that situation, but he was a dynamic return man as well. You look at some of the other kickers this franchise has had and punters. There've been some outstanding players, but I think Ridgway's head and shoulders above everyone.
How about you, Murr?
I threw my vote in for Weston Dressler. I know top 10 of all time doesn't allow yourself to really examine the modern players, but in my time on the rider beat, there was one guy that they had to go back there to absolutely have to field a punt. It was Weston Dressler. He doesn't have the numbers, but I still remember that field goal return he had that would just set things up. So he's kind of overlooked. I know you don't think of Weston Dressler as a special teams player, but he's so impactful when he was back there that I kind of threw his name out there.
And so did the Premier, Brad Wall. He also voted for Weston Dressler as among his top 10 for best special teams
I voted
player.
for him.
So there you go.
You're up for election, Murray.
Yeah.
That's it for top 10 special teams players. Thanks for joining us. For Murray and Ian, I'm Rob. Take care.